specifically, you had found yourself here-ish. Small orange circle. That wasn't a rogue.
Yeah.
Okay. You have your character here. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, I've got the page and stuff. That's what you're asking.
Yeah. Viaje is here. All right. Good. He would be in the Drow hero. There you go. He's tentacle man for the moment. Because yeah, he does look like so. I'm still wondering, I'm still looking for what music to get. Set the scene.
Do you have to have a GM role to use that table, or once it's created, can it just go as player?
Sorry, what was that? Sorry.
The token table thing that uses the flip.
Oh. The rollable table token.
Yeah. Can you use it as a player, or do you have to stay in GM role?
Oh, to flip it? I could flip it.
Yeah, I'm sure you can use it as a player. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was flipping it as a player.
Yeah, I was just wondering because like Friendly was able to do so and he's not. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in as player all the time.
Oh, holy shit, it's been a while. At least with this one. But, I remember fondly where it has happened. Is that, your flippable token?
Yeah, I'm going to put that one as a flippable. I might zoom in later a bit more, but it's a rough work in progress.
Depending on your luck, we might have to do some. We might actually have to do some battle, or depending on your negotiations. But all right, let's start it off right away. Now that this music is here.
I do have one really urgent and important thing to do on our sailing trip over.
Sure, what is it?
I ripped down all the Drow flags and replaced them with one with a black hand holding a piece of fried chicken.
Sure, easily done. There's not much in the way of painting supplies on any of the. Actually, no. Yes, there would be. That's the only way you'd be able to get the Drow flags up in the first place. To actually signify having to sail and adapt at night, having to actually use some of these stone protrusions and the like small islands coming out of the galleon's demise as a foothold into anchoring into them, stopping every now and then. You'd eventually make your way towards the spires with relative ease. It seems most of the dangers has passed towards going towards where the eternal typhoon is. It seems the most dangerous parts were there, and as you come across towards the spires, the winds and the waters themselves become calmer and calmer until you're around about. You do arrive at the spires with 4 out of 5 of your ships. One has already broken away and has defected, but he had already put into place the terror and the and the intimidation that befitting of currently what you surmise yourself as. You're not sure what your power is at the moment. You're still, you can experiment throughout the days. It seems you can shape and control water relatively well. So if it's not already there, control water is part of your prepared spells, like forever.
Okay, just always prepared.
It always prepared. It does not count towards your prepared spells as well.
Cool.
You have shape water as a cantrip as well.
Control water is it third?
Fourth.
Fourth.
It's the ship insta killer. That's
Nice.
as long as the ship isn't like a brigantine or galleon level. But yeah. There you would come across some difficulties in getting exactly landing towards the spires, but is there any sort of preparation you have for you and your crew as you eventually make landfall?
See if I can send out some squids to an octopus, looking for squid and octopus there. I know reside normally around shoals.
Okay. You're able to. It's a feature, right?
I can talk to them, yeah, if I'm underwater and they're underwater.
Okay. So you submerge
And they can understand.
Let's see. Yeah, your voice would carry out. Sure. Roll. What do you say to them?
Friends of the deep, I seek a safe landing place. Where upon this rocky shore do the fishermen set out from?
Make a persuasion check. $18? Not bad. A little lower than I expected. 14 charisma is doing some heavy lifting. Easy enough. There doesn't seem to be any sort of nearby octopus in the vicinity. However, you do get one of the more surprisingly dangerous creatures to come across and show you the way and pave the way for you, as you see, like, just trailing behind your ship, what seems to be just waking up from the nearby, a sort of a coral, waking up after you're not sure how long. The coral and the crust and the barnacles just kind of like crunch off of it as it just moves. You can even hear it from the surface as this huge giant crab begins to walk. And yeah, it seems to just point straight towards the the spires. Do you understand them as well?
I can check.
Or can they only understand you?
Any creature that is also fully submerged can understand you, and you can understand theirs.
Okay. It conveys to you. It does. No vessels. No vessels dare to go close to this place. It's not sure why, but apparently the vessels, most vessels that do come across to this island, they make landfall and they immediately try to. They either get destroyed or they immediately are sent back.
The nature of the destruction, can it make it out?
It doesn't take long before it like moves aside, and you see what it was once like resting on is like just a whole bunch of like wreckage, ship wreckage. It doesn't really convey in detail how they get destroyed. It just knows they're destroyed.
I'll task some crew. You there? Any seagulls, shoot them down and chuck them to the crab.
They look to each other. All right. Yes, sir. They get to it. No problem. You have some of the Drow sharpshooters amongst your company. The archer battalion still exists, and they easily shoot it down. Not a problem. Eventually, I mean, you attract quite a bit more than just a crab at this point, with the amount of seagulls that they shoot. They don't actually know when to stop. There is quite a bit of them, and the seagulls are quite dumb in these parts. It seems they flock towards the ship, and yeah, get a whole variety of what seems to be these. You see them. You can see through the ocean with no problem, I believe.
I don't know about that, like, because through the oceans and the difficulty of seeing the water is the light gets refracted. It's still there.
Yep,
It's just scattered.
Yeah, I think due to these waters being clear, you'll have a good time. The thing is, it's daytime.
So it sucks.
So yeah, so it just cancels out. I'd say I mean like with how you are with your ocean soul, I'd say on top of that, you'd have very good time like seeing through and into the ocean. However, it is during the daytime. You can see one of these creatures being just your errant looking like. This is the first time you've seen them. You've heard of them, but you've heard of like dire creatures. This is the first time you've seen a dire. Yeah, what is that? Like a swordfish? It seems to be like it seems to have made its way to, and it's rare. You now have like during just the days of sailing, you've been fed into your mind, your knowledge, like just the habits of like the sea creatures around you. A swordfish being close to the coast is pretty rare, and you see this one like actually like speed through, get some of the seagulls, speed back out. But other than that, you eventually make your way. Do you go closer?
Yeah, looking for other ships in the distance, preferably.
Perception check. You'll have advantage. You have an entire. You have 4 crews helping you.
And expertise and perception.
Oof.
And still rolled an 8.
Still rolled a 9. Yeah. 19. Onto perhaps not ships, but broken ships. Down the coast. It seems like south of you. There seems to be wreckage directly onto the beach. Other than that, none other than yours. Alright, let's settle some logistics though, before we do some landing. You have the battalions at your command, apart from... Friendly, what was Vorton's battalion again? Was it a rogue one?
Yeah.
It was a rogue one, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So you have all of those battalions at your disposal, apart from a rogue battalion. You have a mage division. You have a mage division. You have a healer's division. You have 2 of the archer divisions and 2 of the warrior divisions. So it's spread amongst your ships, but across the 4 galleons, they are quite a bit manned and then some, and your main ship is overmanned. You are traveling like for only like 5 feet, like slower than you usually are, but that's totally fine. There is some things to set upon. During your times, one of the lieutenants of the other divisions would have come to you. and he discussed and he does not care if you execute him on the spot for this, and is clearly one of the ones to show a little bit of insubordination, but he seems one of the brighter ones, it seems. Oh, well, the leader of like the mage division just asks you, what do they call you? What is your title? Do you call you captain, since you're of a ship? Do you call you admiral, since you can command a fleet? Or do you have some sort of other title?
Can I history roll for how much I know about ships and shit?
Yeah, sure, make a history check. 15. Yeah, I mean, you had ships in the Underdark, and you had this sort of, like, caste system as well. So you would know IRL. Admiral seems befitting, and so does Captain. It's a bit 50-50.
Let's go with captain for now. I feel bestowing such a grand title as admiral is a bit too far.
Sure, Captain. Rolls his eyes. His second question was, how is command delegated, or are you taking command of all the ships all the time? This does affect morale and discipline, depending on what you choose. You can have a very specific like outline and like regime, but he does lay out three things. One is what they've been currently doing, which is all commands are delegated and just done through, with you as being the overseer, of course, and your command being the final. Should there be mediation needed between them, it is done between the lieutenants. So that is you. Then there's the lieutenants, and then there's a group. The second one was, are you taking command of everything? Like, is everyone deferring to just what your say is? So like, there is no hierarchy. Everyone just like defers to you. So the lieutenants are stripped of their positions, essentially, and no one would listen to them. They are still regarded as like a more powerful thing. So in a more tactical or strategic situation, they will be listened to. But in terms of just like logistics and travel, they would not be. You would be the one to handle everything. Or are you going to give them permission to? This is his suggestion, to start assigning sergeants. This way, there would be like a little chain of command. There will be like the soldiers, the sergeants, and then the lieutenants, and then you, and then finally to you. So
Similar to that, when we had when we came across the ships, there were already sailors there that weren't part of our existing crew. Did they stay on board, or have they abandoned?
They have stayed on. They have stayed on board. These were Drow that have stayed on the surface for a while and know their way around the ship and have stayed there and have like regrouped with you. I do remember them eventually regrouping with you, setting sail here-ish, right?
Yeah. So the previous hierarchy would be the lieutenants would be the captain, and the sailors would be under them.
Correct.
I think going forth, it would be the lieutenants would stay unofficial captains or captains of the ship, but each one would be having a first mate that's one of my warlock crew from my own division.
Wow. Okay. Cool. Yeah. This guy. You don't know his name yet. He seems pleased with the decision making and your allocation.
And disciplinary matters, if it's not worthy of execution, will be locked in the brig and forced to listen to the bard's new songs.
He smiles. Right you are, Captain. And then he turns again to another matter, though. Since bloody hell as well might say it. We're on a ship. The lieutenants are going to be our own captains. We're going to be referred to as such. Shouldn't you have another? Should you just be another captain then?
makes it more confusing for anyone else that happens to be spying. So, Captain, it is.
Captain, it is then. All right. With your decision and your with your own custom sort of flavor to this as well, with throwing them, specifically saying if it's not execution worthy, to not bother you with it. The mediation you have to do around the days, going forth as well as before hitting the spires, wasn't too much, but it was a bit more than what you had anticipated. When you were mediating, and this happened all the time. You kind of ignored it. General Kane Metellus and Arun had to deal with this, but now you have to deal with it. It's all sorts of just what you'd expect from like a military standpoint, and a very much more disgruntled, but still a tad bit organized crew of the Drow. How are you dealing with it? Are you these problems range from accusing of theft to not really producing any results thereafter. Just fights, just disagreements escalating into fights. Do you all treat them to the brig and the bad songs, or
Yeah.
do you make examples of a couple?
If there's enough, like if fights go to the point where they're going to be disabled for long periods of time and it's the same perpetrator, he gets made an example of. Otherwise, it's horrific psychological torture of the bard songs.
Okay. Sure. It does not escalate into that, thankfully, due to the horrific torture. You yourself encourage this bard to keep on going. He does not know any better. Although the bard division has split, some of them have stayed, and this particular one, the particular bards are not very good. And thus,
theft and stuff, if there's no obvious culprit, then both of them get stripped with the intention that you sort your shit out yourself before you bring it to me, otherwise both of you pay.
Make an intimidation check.
Hey!
Natural 20. Oh, nice. Basically, I was looking for like some 20 or higher, which, yeah, that does it. You do, instead of doing the investigation yourself, you make this declaration. And yeah, it seems a couple of them have been a bit more selfish and thinking to themselves, this is an opportune time to, with the disgruntledness, to perhaps make their lives out at sea a little better than the rest, including that of the theft of some personal treasures, in which 3 of them come to they just confess. They hand themselves in. What do you choose to do with them? This is a relatively major crime, and they would have definitely gotten away with it, should you not have done a personal investigation. But they confessed with just a sheer force, due to just your sheer force of charisma, plus 2 XD.
They have to return the treasures and thus swabbing the decks for the foreseeable future.
Okay, they have the sorest fucking arms, because these guys, out of your purview, since one of them was part of the mages division, he says, Captain, if you'll allow me, I'll take it from here. Thank you for that. I think the men will definitely ease down now, due to some mercy. Do you allow him to take it from here, or you just okay? Overall, with your decisions and your roles, the discipline is solid, but a little unruly due to the kind of past events. The morale is very high. It seems they are at least under someone that is both powerful merciful and still strict when need be. And your lieutenant puts them to both the ship's rope work, for like multiple differing galleons, as well as having to swap the decks themselves only. They have super fucking sore arms, and you watch as he gets some of the healers division. Should they falter during the work, he just heals them back up.
Yep, fair enough.
So, bit of added drow torture on top. But overall, the lieutenants are. This is the state of your ships. The galleons are good. One is still relatively damaged due to I believe, the shark fight. I believe two was like hit there, so I'd say one has already, retreated away from you, has dissented. One is still relatively damaged. Overall crew, solid discipline, very high morale. Very well.
Cool.
Lieutenants, unless you want to do something personally, reward them and shit like that, they remain skeptical. But
lieutenants and first mates and one designated one that they nominate all meet on the flagship, I guess you'd call it, for a meal every evening, and I'll treat them to whatever the best shit that I happen to get back from the sea.
Easy. All right. So it creates the need for competition now. There's like a lot of people that that are trying to. They themselves are wanting to be the first mate, or wanting to be. They're cozying up. They're more cozying up to less you and more the lieutenants, which
Makes
is
sense.
probably what you'd want.
Yeah.
Yep. The lieutenants are, for now, happy. Their loyalty still remains skeptical. They do appreciate the whole food thing, though. And a bit of a share of like the treasure should you encounter any. You become a true pirate thing, true pirate crew, and only one of the people has really acknowledged that they're probably no longer of the forces of Garrosh. The rest of them seem like they're eventually wanting to go home, or although the discipline is solid, a lot of them are like saying like you overhear like conversations of once we're done being exiles, surely we will bring home trophies and death from the surface to show to our glorious fortress city. So they're hyped, but like in the wrong direction. There's legit only your division, your personal thing that are unwaveringly loyal to you, and your own lieutenant as well, who for now has refused being a captain of any of the ships. He wishes to serve as your first mate. Who was your lieutenant again?
I'm desperately been looking for my notes this whole time trying to work it out. Do you remember, friendly?
I put it here somewhere.
Wait, what was the question?
For our campaign, do you remember what my lieutenant guy's name was? Yours was Varkon, right?
Yeah. I can't remember you.
Battalion Sergeant Avig.
That's it?
Yep.
Oh, there it is. You wrote it down.
Yeah, you did write it down. Avig. Yeah, he was the balding drow, the more crazy looking drow. Definitely of the. He was and your division was.
I can't remember. think I was mages or warlocks or something, or I'm pretty sure I had magic
Follow-up
users.
attacks. That looks like 2 follow-up attacks. 2 follow-up attacks. Level 2, 2.
Shit, it's been way too long.
I'd say it was either you either chose the rangers or the mages. I'd say it'd be mages. I did say this guy was equipped a bit better and a bit weirder than the other mages. This one, I did, yeah. Your, yes, I remember now. Your, during the course of the thing, the land, you did see your sergeant fight with a whip. He now fights with what seems to be on the side. He's a bit quieter now. You do know he's like unwaveringly loyal to you. He's the one that like hyped up like the rest of the other battalion to like be with you, and like they immediately wanted to turn on the Drow should they have turned on you as well. But he's been working on his own projects, it seems. During the course of the travels, instead of a whip, he now has what seems to be, and now see for the first time, like a chain sickle. You gave them all packed blood. Yep. You have like a tiny bit of connection towards all of them, and in time they will probably accrue warlock levels. You may be on the verge of like making like the perhaps the strongest like just mobile cult. Sure. Now that the logistics almost done, is there any personal treasure you'd like to impart upon Alec? Or
Viaje literally had nothing. I got resurrected and sent out.
Right, sure. Obviously he'll have preferential treatment, although he doesn't normally take it. But, most of the crew actually avoids him. He's a bit creepy enough as it is, but when you have a conversation with him, he starts asking you of like your previous life. He likes to call it. How much of your past do you divulge to Alec? How much do you share to him?
Quite a lot. Describing like how our town was progressive and it was moving away from the old ways, and how everyone thrived, and then how when Escadora came back, everything went to shit.
Yep. So yeah, Tyvan Alashtar definitely was that like that. You're right. He knows of it. I mean, he's never been there, but he knows of it, and he goes, says he'll, so, Captain Viaje, do you intend to ever go back to it one day? Retake it for yourself.
It would be a dream come true to bring civilization back, to return the darkness to this horrible light.
I see. Well, it is surrounded by water, and well, should we go back towards the path of the core? I know a few Drow that no, I know of a very specific Drow that know ways of getting our ships into the undersea, and we can sail towards wherever destination you see fit.
I think before then there's a water one.
Yes. This war, he says, looking towards like the horizon, towards Sahilia. You see like you definitely see like the tallest buildings of the Sahilia, the would-be skyscrapers are already destroyed. And he turns to you. You still wish to associate yourself with this land and its war? Or do you mean something else?
I feel it doesn't matter where we are, whether on this cursed bright surface or back in the homeland, it will find us. And if that's the case, we'd better choose the side we wish to win.
Well, Captain, I much prefer now, especially with being more in tune to how you are, and having sailed these seas. Let's choose the side with the most water around it.
For sure. And the best food, of course.
Oh, fuck yes. Food! There is your first cult tenet has has surfaced, and it is fill yourself with the luxuries you are able to take. For you do not know when the next for you do not know what the next tide will bring. Suffer yourself upon the bounties of others. For again, you do not know in which the tides will take. I'll write that to you later. But yeah. I know, you don't wish to be a cult, but you're essentially one now. You're Cult of the Seas. It's one of the first in the world, by the way.
We don't have a glowy mountain.
Yeah, Patron of the Sea Titan. I'm like thinking that Patron of the Sea Titan, freaking Sea Cult. You're kind of pirates, but you're not. How are you going to assimilate like as much people as you can into this, or if not, how are you going to just strengthen yourselves to be? Because your fleet strength is powerful. You don't have ship weapons, which kind of sucks. You're just like a huge intimidating factor. You just have a lot of crew. You have 4 galleons. That's already like amazing. You just don't have like cannons on any of them. So yeah, eventually it all goes back to the current president. You look back, you know, to yourself satisfied with how you've managed your fleet so far. And as we go towards the spires, to Friendly and those of you, to Friendly and anyone else watching, this man right here, had to roll a d9. He had a 1 in 9 chance to have a good encounter in the spires. He had a 7 in 9 chance for a dangerous encounter, and he had a 1 in 9 chance to 6 in 9 chance for that, and then he had a 2 in 9 chance to be absolutely demolished. He rolled the 1 in 9 chance for a good encounter, as your ships would eventually make landfall. There are some preparations and some anchors dropped by the other ships, but it's your main ship that has the gangways prepared to be set up on the land, and the ladders dropped. As you get your forces out, you get it seems everyone has this message pierced into their minds. All of you hear, and to what do I have the pleasure? Who sets forth on these lands?
I am Captain Viaje, and I bring information to trade.
A captain! Oh dear, oh boy. Well. Could you perhaps wait 18 hours until night time?
That would be preferred for me too.
I seem to... And you watch as like a couple of these gigantic like flying creatures, white flying creatures, and then you realize, are those giant seagulls? They're just like flying overhead. and they make the seagull squawks, but they're a bit more like enlarged and deeper and lower and just reverberating throughout the land. Oh, oh! as they circle overhead.
Are the birds tribute for the crabs?
They are not. They're mine.
One moment,
Oh.
lads, don't shoot those ones down.
You see a couple of them begin to try. They're like whispering amongst themselves, like in the undercommon, like giant varieties. They're like, well, let's see how strong they actually are. They're getting ready to load their blade bows, and they stand down. They look at you. They don't question it, but they're a bit sad they don't get to shoot down some giant seagulls. The 18 hours would eventually pass. Occasionally you get messages of, oh, what an interesting crow. Or Drow.
Hey, the crabs are people too.
I don't sense any but one. But whatever. It's around that 18-hour mark where you have that conversation, and they're just walking with what seems to be a posse of like two other individuals. You can see just as well. The crew ready their weapons, but they don't immediately shoot. It seems they know what's going on. The lieutenants have informed you and asked you if you've heard the same sort of voices, but when they responded, they couldn't hear anything. It turns out the messages were directed very much to you.
Okay.
What you see there is what seems to be an older human, pale, gaunt in features, grinning, and what seems to be replacing quite a bit of the his teeth are what seem to be jade, gold, platinum, just all these different sort of metals as teeth. He has a very, very large what looks to be like a purple flame that is ever so sort of like being kindled upon the top of his like oversized pirate hat. Very, very much pirate hat. Red tattered like clothing of what seems to be an admiral. You're not sure of what nation, but this definitely like shouts like seafaring clothes. There's a couple of like figures next to him as well. They seem to be of his posse, but they're definitely more elegantly dressed. One is male, one is female. They're both elven, high elven in nature, but they're paler, it seems. Both of their eyes red, and they look towards the boats as well. And they seem just one's got their arms crossed, the other hands on their hips, as they just they flank him, but they don't necessarily trail behind him afterwards. This skeleton of a man walks up towards where the like around 60 feet where the where the main ship has landed, and you watch as when he steps he steps into the air, he steps upwards, but you watch as like the sand rises up and catches the footing and turns into sandstone. Then another, then another, and then you watch as like a podium of sandstone erupts, and he steps on it.
All the way up, or is he meeting halfway?
He seems to be looking down on the ship, actually.
I'll control water and lift myself up and mimic him using water.
Oh, alright. Looks towards the ships, looks towards you, smiles. And pray tell, what is this information? Well, first off, he puts up a hand. You must know of the lands in which you step on, Drow. You see these spires? We each call them teeth. A tooth. 9, to be exact. 9 teeth. And, pretty sure in your undercommon that would come across as the land of teeth in which you do not set foot on.
Do we actually land, or have we just been like beached and waiting?
No. 3 of the ships are still they've anchored, but they're not beached. 1 is beached. That is your main ship.
It's a good thing we haven't stepped foot on the land then.
He smiles. I guess so. Normally, you'd be destroyed, especially with what you're carrying. But I'm mighty curious. Oh, I'm willing to hear you out and even send you on your way. And maybe even offer you a bit of something. Because this is... Now, forgive my language. But bloody fucking fantastic. Drow pirates? That's a first in this world. But yes, do talk. What information do you have for me?
You see, our hometown, or city, I guess, is slightly more populous than what you have here on the surface. It's become overrun with corruption. I guess, similar lifestyle from what I've heard here. And then changes in power structure was not what I would call agreeable to live under. We were conscripted and sent to take over petty towns and assault bases here. But we learnt of the bounty to be had here, and the culture that we could enjoy. And it was far in contrast from the slops and the shit we were offered from our current leaders.
The grin grows wider. I always love a bit of organized chaos, especially that against authority. Does not treat you the way you want. I can understand, you see. Allow me to introduce myself. Maybe you might have already known. But I guess the surface doesn't really share whoever's in this fucking place. But I am the 8th seat of the Teeth, of the Archmage Council. The name's Benjamin. But you may probably know me better as King of the Border Pirates.
Ah, pirates, I've heard of this concept. Is what we're doing here parsley?
It's pretty much on the mark, aye. You're having a disagreement with your authority of your choosing and location and of upbringing. They're not treating you to your specified needs and demands and wants. And you wish to go about it with not a bit of genocide as per se, but you want to branch out on your own, and occasionally you need the supplies that perhaps a certain town or a city would be hoarding. Would be much, much better for the people that actually, and dare I say, enjoy freedom, and the ones and exactly the culture of the other species.
To call it a disagreement, perhaps it's a language barrier. I sunk a fleet and killed a general.
Aye, alright. Raises an eyebrow. Do go on.
I was hoping to perhaps trade information of logistics, supplies, military disposition, for perhaps some supplies of our own. And as to what I know about here, well, you see, as of 6 months ago, I was a shopkeeper. So I have no fucking idea what any of this shit is.
When you say have what any of the shit is, do you gesture to yourself, or what do you gesture to?
Like just the service world.
Well, merchant. It'd be nice to do some business. It's been a while since I've had to do it myself. Relatively friendly ones, that is. So this is a really good change of pace. I'm willing to. Sure, I'll entertain you. But let me know. What's your... I feel a specific power coming out of you, and it's nothing too uncommon from where I'm from. And where I'm from is the seas. And he
Viaje
watches
would
his... Oh yeah, continue.
Viaje would tilt his head down, smile, and the tentacle of the deep slowly coils up the control water platform.
Yep.
And becomes a seat for him to sit on.
It looks like you've got a better control with it. You can see what that's 60 feet. Sure. Yep. You can sit on it.
Perhaps this is what you were referring to.
Aye, and it seems raw. New. Like you were just chosen.
It was not my first avenue of pursued power, but it has become one of my only.
I appreciate the honesty. And that's a relatively rare case in this world. Usually it's something that's pursued, made deals upon. Even bought in some cases from my fleet.
The sacrifice of a general in a fleet seems to have appeased him.
Bloody hells. Well, in that case, I can get you your supplies. Not a worry. And have a proposition for you, friend of the sea, of the deep. I myself do not have a connection other than a business partnership with it. Or I command something relatively stronger. That is something I'd... Actually, I'll just... Since you've been so forthright with me, I'll spring it up on you. Are you looking to become proper pirates of this world?
I'm not
You
sure.
can use differences.
I'm not sure entirely what that entails, but I'm now bound to the sea and do not see myself leaving.
Aye, you are. You can eventually take upon your vengeance. But for the time being, you can do what she had said you and your crew mayhaps would wanted to do. Set upon the pleasures and the cultures of this world. Take upon the mantle that is liberator of the suffocated. The treasures that are just wishing for freedom. And giving those folk that want a life of true adventure. These are not demands, these are not orders. But I believe these are, well, lack a better word. These are just things that I surmise you and what your crew wants at the end of the day. All end goals, ambitions aside.
We do very cautiously request help in offering such an opportunity to a second Drow fleet. Perhaps no, a third Drow fleet. The second one's probably been sunk at this moment.
He smiles.
They're bringing treasure for us in due time, and she'll be met. Well, I can give you a point on the map, but a fleet of 4 perhaps will be insufficient, if you catch my drift.
That's some mighty fine information. Wouldn't it be a shame if well, actually, are these friends of yours, or are they just...
They could choose to be friends or die.
Well, actually, I'll let you deal with that information however you want. Or are you offering it up as a sort of friendly tribute to one such as I?
Well, we would like to take part, of course. Some of them would obviously choose to live a better life, surely. And if not, well, it's their choice to make.
I've conquered a few of the Drow fleets myself, but never a fight on the surface. Don't think it'd be much of a challenge. Tell you what, I had something planned for you, and dare I say, you made it a little easier, actually. I wanted to test your mettle, your ingenuity. Because all in all, it'd be very easy to take you under my wing and just have you as part of one of the hundreds, nay, thousands of ships sailing for the border pirates. But I'm currently looking for a new person in my inner circle. I can quickly capture and make sure there are not much casualties in this tribute fleet of yours. I'll even do it myself. If you accept the trial I'm about to bestow upon you, to become one of my inner circle, to truly welcome you, and give you the allies that you need. Otherwise, we can come across at just a friendly meeting, and I'll impart upon you enough supplies for you to take the tribute ships on your own. But you'll be on your own, and I'll have something to look forward to in the seas. Either way sounds lots of fun.
To clarify, we lack the numbers to sail the ships that we will be taking.
Adina,
We... This common language. Perhaps you speak the undertongue?
I do.
He's going to switch to undercommon.
Yep.
And explain that only maybe 1 in 5 of them know how to sail a ship. And essentially convey that the ships will be sunk if they can't be taken. And if they can't be sailed afterwards, there's no point in leaving them whole. The dilemma is we don't have enough sailors. Not that we lack the strength to take the fleet.
That is a bit of a problem, he says in undercommon. Alright. You will perhaps delay me but a week. But I am able to gather upon the sufficient amount of sailors on top of the Drow. Of course, I'll only be helping you this much. And you'll still be on your own should you refuse. But should you accept the trial, I will tell you what your trial is. Should you complete it, well, welcome aboard the Border Pirates. And should you fail, well, you didn't have the guts and ingenuity to begin with. So, what say you?
I'm intrigued. Can you tell me what it is without me having to accept it?
Perhaps. How am I feeling today? Roll a persuasion check.
Come on, 14 charisma.
Been rolling good this far so far. Oh my goodness, 19, yeah. He goes, there exists an island, actually, in the middle of the Eternal Typhoon, here in this very region. It is a large landmass. The Eternal Typhoon can be entered, but I don't know how. And all I know of it is that on that landmass lays an isolated elven kingdom. Now, wouldn't it be a shame if this kingdom were to... No, it wouldn't be a shame, would it? It would be a great find for the rest of the world. Now, should this kingdom be... I don't know, have their winds quell down, their walls taken apart. The typhoon walls, that is. And having them exposed to the outside cultures. Namely, our cultures. He says, smiling. Wouldn't that be nice?
Does seem unfair that we should suffer while they stay hidden away.
Indeed.
But there's not a typhoon wind.
Oh, is it sorry? I didn't hear that properly.
There's not a typhoon wind, says Viaje, that knows nothing about weather.
That's a pretty good question. Oh, excuse me. It's a cyclone. It's a hurricane. Ah, shit, wishes. It's one of those. It's... Alright, You watch as, like, on the horizon. Look very carefully. That's what it looks like. You watch as on the horizon, he creates, like, a massive hurricane. And it just begins to, like, just storm over the area as well. And a bit of your ships are, like, ringing the bells and, getting themselves to actually beach on the shores just in case it gets any closer.
Couldn't you just do that? Make it go the opposite direction?
I fucking tried. Pretty powerful, actually. I've also had rumors of it, except on occasion, shipwrecked people. Might want to either take the risk or be ingenious about it. That's why technically I'm just hiring you to figure it out for me, because honestly it's out of my purview. That's may I add that wind's stronger than anything that I can conjure. Look, buddy, it's wind, and it's very strong winds. I can conjure up very strong winds. But I'm more of a water kind of guy.
Me too.
I've also checked underneath. It's a whirlwind, and I myself can enter and exit, it seems. But I don't want to risk being on my own lonesome. I'll leave it to the more crazier folk, as well as the ones that choose, the ones that want to prove themselves.
Well, it does seem a compelling opportunity to share in other cultures. Right now, that typhoon is the only thing that's stopping the rest of the Drow fleet from flooding into the past.
Ah, two stones, one weight. Two birds, one stone. Right.
And the third fleet is in the opposite direction.
Oh then. You're willing to accept?
But how long? How long have you been working at this for? I don't see this being a quick task.
Neither do I. I've done about 3 months of reconnaissance. And due to lack of better knowledge, not really entering the very lands themselves. I don't want to be trapped up in anything that I can't get out of. All I know is that there's an ancient elven kingdom that resides there. And if I know my elves, they're probably still around. So at this point, I don't know, they've probably not resorted to fucking each other and just have been making sure they're getting some of the shipwrecked people to make sure there's none of that mutations going on. I'm not sure how it is.
The Duragar route. Oh, don't even think about it.
Right. I didn't even know they did that, but yes. Puts a relatively sour taste on my tongue. Don't have a tongue. But yes. Been working on it for 3 months, and there is a powerful fleet, including myself, that's looking over this typhoon and the lands ripe with plunder. And should the winds be quelled, perhaps within minutes, nay, within hours, you'll have some friends coming and paying the elves a visit. But you know, explore around, find out the story, find out their shit, see if we can muster up this power for ourselves. And of course, take what you like. Make sure you like a lot of things.
Could we perhaps do that after? And he does air quotes, recruiting a few more ships.
Take a bit for me to give you the sailors you need.
If that'll be a problem, I can always sink the ships and we could gather it from the bottom of the sea, but it seems inefficient.
Tell you what, I'm in a bit of a hurry. We'll meet halfway. You said, how many of these fleets were there? 2, 3?
I'm gonna mentally go through the list. Did I get any feedback from the ancient shark that I sent to sink the second fleet?
You did not. That shark's probably did its job already. There's probably only one more fleet out there.
Do you have any means to contact sea friends? I'm kind of new to this.
As much as you'd have, but a bit better. How come?
I humbly requested a new shark friend of mine deal with the Second Fleet, but I'm not sure if he's had the opportunity to do so yet.
I'm afraid if it's someone or something already existing, I'll have to have known the creature in order to try and talk to it.
Ah,
He can probably do sending, but he'd have to meet the shark first, which he probably hasn't.
I don't think there's anything I can do.
I don't think you have sending either.
Yeah, I don't think warlocks get that. Just having a check. No, I don't. I tried shouting into the water. It has limitations, it seems.
Right, you are. There's no as far as I'm concerned, there's no megastone invention for under the water just yet. So it's however your voice can carry. Just still relatively far.
I could describe the shark. Perhaps you've met him before.
He shakes his head. Aye, friend, I've met lots of sharks.
This one is rather unique.
How so?
It could probably swallow your boat whole. Well, it at least could swallow mine.
That kind of shark. I've also met a bunch of those. I think it's gonna be hard to narrow it down to which one.
Resides somewhere along the lines of. He points on a map here.
Right. You're pretty new at this. Those creatures, they can be anywhere in the world. Actually.
One did not see many sharks while residing on the land.
Oh, they can't reside on the land, but they even hunt along the coasts. That's what I'm saying.
So, while this has been a very pleasant chat, I do feel that the sooner I pass along this information, the more plunder there is to be had.
Right.
And I humbly request that he's going to go through describe how many buckets full of chicken he wants because he can't think of much else. I need food, lots of food.
Yeah. You'll eventually get the buckets of chicken from him. Although it's a weird request, but they are actually able to bequeath upon you what looks to be just 5 days worth of fried chicken, should you wish.
I'll pass it out to the crew and then give them every single minor detail on the entire military disposition of the entire Drow forces.
Amazing. Just for fun. And he's happy with that. He says, although unless you require a large fleet for whatever it is you're planning with the Eternal Typhoon, he will meet you on the west of this island with plundered and saleable extra bits of fleet. What he can muster from the Third Fleet, wherever that is. He is also. He says to not to worry about leaking the movements. He'll as long as it's on the sea, he can probably find it.
And there was a secondary fleet that was coming from. They were going to make their way down the island, and then sail from Sahilia, I believe.
Yeah. Like break off from the south, then go towards Sahila. Yeah.
Yeah, they were going to go north along. Yeah, where is the old?
Yep. They were going to. Yeah. They. I believe you wouldn't know what came of them. All you know is there was like transport fleets going between this place. Because of the final stand of the dynasty is here.
That was Plan B for our fleet. That if we couldn't make it straight through here, we would go Cauldron of Death and around.
Yep, Cauldron of Death.
And so Viaje is looking to meet them and all their loot that they're bringing for us down the bottom.
Okay. So you split your fleet?
Well, yeah, sort of trying to work out it. Like, do I have time to do the typhoon and then meet them? Because it'd take a month or so to go all the way around.
Yeah, it would. It would take like more than that. The thing is that what Benjamin was offering is he's gonna intercept wherever this fleet is and just sail it straight away here and take control of it.
They wouldn't. They'd already be on land traveling though, would they not? I'm trying to work out like how long we've been traveling. Because
Oh, yeah.
we were going.
Well, oh yeah, it depends on what I roll. So he'll either
Yeah.
take control of them mid-sea, but regardless, it was just going to happen. Like if he was gonna find
Okay.
your ships docked, he was just gonna take them.
Though that would leave our treasure collectors out collecting treasure with no way to bring it to us.
Correct. I'd have to roll to see what actually happens.
Okay.
So you can either leave it to fate as to what happens to them, or you you let Benjamin do his thing and guarantee you a bunch more ships. But with what he's talked about the Eternal Typhoon, yeah, it seems you're gonna have to find some way into it somehow. Give you a clue. The more ships you have, the harder it may be.
Can one magically look into this place?
You asked that?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like, I've tried. And there's some of the mages of the teeth here that have tried. Nothing. There's been communications been made apparently between the Hydra and this kingdom, but they've also refused them.
You guys have a talking Hydra?
You don't know about him. Don't worry about him. Just a figurehead of another kingdom.
Ah.
Also an archmage. Nothing too fancy.
How many of these archmages do you have?
We've got 9. And yeah, he points out there's only 4 on the map, but there's like 9 of these individual towers on this island.
I take it none of us or none of you know of anyone that resides on the island to target the magic spell to?
He shakes his head. Which is... it's a bit weird. It's a bit surprising. But I wager it has something to do with the event that which no one in the world knows about in history. The event the one that has just been erased from everyone's minds at the time, and all records of it, nothing. It's the event called the tragedy. I think it's got something to do with it. Because all we know is that people, there's some people, elves that live there, and that's all we know.
But how do you know? It just looked like a giant storm from where we were.
It was a giant storm, and then it got some... we managed to get a few golems in there to scout. And this was about 300 years ago, and they've intensified their security ever since. Because any recent attempts, which was 100 years ago, at another set of scouting golems, they were immediately taken apart. Not by the storm, but by something else they couldn't even see it. But we know they exist.
This is an inspiring a large
Aye.
amount of.
Here's the thing. Golems you can pretty much detect whether or not you're of the high caliber of magic. People, they can mask themselves relatively easily upon entering. And the only reason we actually got knowledge of the people that have shipwrecked there was 50 years ago. An incident happened in the galleon's demise. A ship met its end there, and a relatively powerful caster was able to send messages from the outside confirming. It took a while for these rumors to circulate and for members of the council and their servants to actually investigate upon them. But it has been confirmed that whoever this is, well, they're dead now, because the messages stopped coming or whatever happened. But that was the second point of confirmation. So you might as well, I don't know, mask yourself as some sort of shipwrecked person. Make sure you don't die. I had a feeling that the other one died of old age, though. But we can only speculate. I'd like to see the walls torn down. I'm not the only one that would benefit, you see, from the council. There's all these folk that love their research, and I love my gold. So, of course, they had to bloody give me this project where they're fighting a god someplace else, seems.
You know what? This project sounds better deal after all.
Indeed. So what say you?
I'll give it a try. What happens if I can't get in? Or if I get in and then
Well, you have all the time.
have trouble getting out?
Are you able? You're not able to send messages long distance, are you?
If I was, I would have already contacted the shark.
Sure. Chucks you a stone. This is set to one of my captains. Very loyal person. They'll tell me all about it. You get a sending stone, you're not sure who it's linked to, but it's paired. Should something happen in between, or in it, or you can't get yourself out, try and message. And we'll try and get you out some way. You just have to secure some sort of foothold for us, and we can start sending individuals in. If you lose the stone, or if you can't find a way to communicate to the outside world, well, you're on your own.
Let me have a chat with the lads, but I'm pretty much quite interested in this.
Solid. Alright. You watch as he begins just walking down the stairs, and the sandstone crumbles back to sand slowly as he walks down.
I'll bunch up the ship so we can set planks across and have our nightly meeting.
Yep.
And distribute enough of my traded chicken so everyone gets a good feed.
Alright.
Alright,
We'll remember this.
here's the deal. Been offered a position in, I believe they call them navies here, but it's an unofficial navy. I think they're pirates. It seems a good deal. We're first going to go and acquire, or maybe he's a little bit unclear, but we're acquiring the treasure that the other Drow took because, of course, we deserve it more than them. Here, and then raises his mug of whatever hat.
You get a here from the lieutenants, and I from the crew, and most of them are like, pirates? We're pirates? And they're like, oh, I believe there's glory in sowing chaos into the surface world through piratism. And then one's like, are you sure we might not be able to go back home ever again? I was like, we need home. It's like, this is our home now.
Don't worry, lads. He's already said that they do pirating down in the undersea. We'll be going home sooner or later.
And with that, they're they're less reluctant and a bit more keen on this. And as you get everyone's ear,
there is a small problem. In order for me to become, I guess, a super captain, no one wrote a book about the shit down for alchemy. The trial seems at least slightly suicidal, and I couldn't, in good conscience, take my faithful crew with me. Well, at least not you lads that have difficulty swimming. So
get a few laughs.
I'm gonna let you enjoy the company of Benjamin's fleet, at least for 3.5 crews. And my loyal squad and I will be venturing into the swarm.
That's what Alec actually says. He's like, do you brief them all about the project?
Later on, like I'll take my own crew.
Okay.
I'm looking to take a skeleton crew on just one ship into the Typhoon.
Oh, I see. All right, they're keen, although they don't know what they're getting into, but they're keen.
He's promised us that we shall get our fair share of the loot once we start convincing some of the other Drow to either join us or, well, you know what else is the alternative.
Of course, it's at this point the lieutenant, which you now have the words have like circled around. Let me just double check the Mage Division.
I definitely heard Basics Bards.
Yep.
And Shano's Mages, I believe I had.
Yep.
Friendly's Rogues buggered off, and I think Rycroft's crew sunk, and Seeking might have. I think he had frontline fighters.
Yes. Crux was Servium's one. I'm just looking through people. Who had the mages group?
Shano.
Shanna. And he was... Who was he?
If it's too difficult, some of them may or may not have already been executed.
That's fine. Oh, he was Alton, right?
Yeah.
Oh, he did have a mage crew. Alright, yeah, this one. Oh, didn't have a name. I guess he didn't bother. Well, I'll generate one. Let's say Eldred. was the lieutenant of the mage battalion, and he speaks up and he says, "We had to be not in your command then, for a few weeks."
Yes. Well, as much as I know you're extraordinarily loyal to me and me alone, it does seem slightly suicidal, and one must not treat their crew carelessly.
There's a few chuckles.
You're all
Forever loyal
welcome
to you.
to come
Yes.
and die with me, though.
A lot of them are like reluctant.
So,
And then-
while I'm away, and I'm gonna list out tasks on, like, they need to learn how to do some sailing shit. The bards are required to come up with new sea shanties.
Oh no. Okay.
At least one drow on each ship has to learn how to cook properly, not that drow slop that they've been serving.
Alright.
And find or delegate the mages, which I'm guessing have got some reasonable language skills, to start teaching some of the other drow, like common and other languages that would be useful on the surface.
They do. Especially since they're part of Elysia. Definitely like the more erudite, like focused sort of a community in Elysia. The Elysia mages are delighted. Actually, they're more than happy to start bossing around and giving lessons to the other people. um, the remnants of what seems to be the Metallus group are relatively keen on testing out their mettle now against the other Drow forces, and underneath the new command, however, the lieutenants are they're more skeptical now that you're you're choosing to leave so early, but they don't question it, except for he does make a comment, this guy, Eldrin, and he says, For how long must we wait until perhaps we wait no longer and sail upon a new banner, Captain?
I've been given a communication stone for an ally of the man I was talking to. They'll know once I've passed, and then you can make your own decision from there.
Understood. You seem to have the intent of treating us better than our previous superiors. And honestly, I didn't like following
To be fair,
crazy general.
you never came from the same town as I. I've seen the shithole that you guys called civilization. Nothing could be as bad as that.
He smirks. You know what? We believe you. I mean, some of these folk have already seen the surface culture. I, personally... I think I'll take an elven bride or two, personally.
I don't
Yes.
know what his crew is made up of. I shall ask, and see if he can set us amongst elves, you said? Any particular flavour?
He smiles. I like to, Captain, you should know a little bit more about me. I'm a little ambitious, but it's a bit... I'll turn that down for now. I think you're one to follow. I think you're one to follow. But if you should know something about me, I like to take what I want.
Seems as though your philosophy falls well in line with the crew we shall soon join.
He smiles. Oh, dear, hope so. I think, as for the teaching schedules, do you really want a couple of us to go about teaching Undercommon to the other people that we may come across?
It wouldn't hurt to have some of their crew to be interchangeable with ours. But for now, focus on teaching Common and any other useful languages. If you have Elven or Elvish or Dwarven, it's pretty hard to demand loot if you can't speak to the person. And if you sink the ship, you can't steal it and sail away. These logistical problems are now occurring to me, and we should have started this language shit earlier.
It hits it.
No.
That'd be like what? Wireless?
Yeah, mine does this as well. You gotta go either charge it or find a cord.
Oh no. I was too lazy to charge. So I always get wire. The wire's annoying.
Yeah. My one does both, so like you can have it charged and then you can unplug it and you get about 10 hours on it.
Oh jeez.
And then like you can keep running while it's charging.
Oh yeah. I just knew that I wouldn't like. There'll be times where you'll get like when you think you charge all the time, then sometimes you'll get forget to charge. And like during a game, it'll like turn off.
Yup, back.
Welcome back.
Oh, nice. I was going to
You
try
were
and type it all out.
mentioning it died when you were mentioning your response to should they teach the Undercommon as well.
Focus on spreading Common, and if they have any other languages such as Elvish and Dwarvish and Gnomish to our crew, because I've been thinking through logistical problems, and it's much easier to demand loot and be able to speak to them than sink them and have to try and retrieve it from the bottom of the sea.
Fair point, Captain. Sure. Finally, something I can take from home and apply. Then he's like, is our place really that much of a shithole compared to... He just like gestures around the world, or...
Tell me, how often were your stores robbed?
Not often. No, not at all. Why would... Then it dawns on him. Oh, why would they rob us? Huh. Well...
How many murders were there in your town? Did you have authorities that enforced any rules?
Quite, but each of the cities had their own guard, militia. We sent out a percentage of it to train towards the fortress And the city surrounded the fortress. The fortress would give back. These trained men as hardened soldiers, sometimes elite. And at the same time, even with that system going on, yes, there would be murders around.
See, we had thefts because there was things worth stealing. We didn't have so much murders because people valued life and honesty, at least some semblance of honor.
He nods, slowly, taking it in. You make a fair point, Captain. I shall see to it the others strive towards mostly theft and little murder.
We had a city where we would improve ourselves to improve our city, not because we were required to, but because we wanted to make our city better. From what little I hear about the city such as yours, you strove to improve the city because otherwise you'd be tortured or killed.
Yes.
You paid tribute to those in charge because they demanded it, not because they deserved it.
He nods.
Well, we're taking a page a little bit from them, I'm afraid, because we're going to demand loot. And I say that from all the shit we've put up with, we deserve it.
Right we do. Right we do. Well then. I mean, the rest really can't complain. This is probably the best food they have ever tasted in their life as he munches on a drumstick. Me too.
It's still not as good as the stuff we brought from the city.
You're kidding. What?
I was sick for hours and hours and hours because we kept eating and we couldn't stop. We had to hide the food from our fellow Drow because we wanted it for ourselves.
The surface world is a terrifying place in more ways than one, it seems. But what do we do with bountiful lands once we find them? The good old Underdark specialty. Conquer.
Conquering leaves logistical problems. From what I understand, the group we're going with, they'll take, but not leave anyone in charge. Seems less troublesome.
I see. I see.
I got the
Yeah.
impression they stopped by ports, collected some loot, then left, with little disturbance, unless it was forced.
Do you know if they have any sort of permanence on this world, or are they just all around?
You, my friend, would be very welcome to ask that question.
Of course, You know what, Captain? Leave it to me. I'll try and learn as much about these pirates as I can. Their way of life intrigues me. Dare I say it? I like this. So,
Pull out the stone and contact Benjamin's captain. Alright. Apparently I'm talking to you talk to your captain.
and
And then he's like trying to count how many words he's just said. But can I meet him again tomorrow?
Here a response. Yes, you may. Nice to meet you. Call me Ahir. And Benjamin himself won't be the one piloting your crew. You can talk to him, but I'll be taking care of your crew while you're gone. And that'll be the extent of it.
All right, meeting with a representative, perhaps not the main. I think it's still captain, but I'm not sure. Tomorrow, and we'll go from there.
He nods. Oh, the other lieutenants, they seem to more or less care about treasures more than anything else. Any sort of permanence in this world. I myself, I think I want us to leave a legacy, and I think this would be a wonderful way to do it. So, I shall. I'll make sure the. Oh, is your right hand man going to stay with you, or is he staying with us?
I'm taking volunteers only. I'll leave that up to him.
He's probably gonna go with you then. Pity, I like Alec. He's everyone avoids him, but he's relatively just. It's rather fair. And, he's quite strong. Makes sure the loot is where it should be, and whoever deserves it. I'm gonna have to find someone else to be in charge of that in the meantime, since you're not going to be here.
Perhaps I'll insist he stays.
Hmm.
Would be a shame
Shrugs.
if all of our like-minded fellows perished in this endeavour.
I agree. Well, my stomach's starting to hurt, Captain. I fear as if I visit a city ever so much better than in cooking. I may die a happy and fat drow.
Oh, believe me, you wish you had. The pain is exquisite, but terrible.
Oh,
We had to ride and escape a guard patrol afterwards. I don't know. I just watched that catch me sometimes.
probably would have threw up, regardless of running or being caught. Can't imagine that now with not seeing your mouth there, Captain. He says, smiling. But alas, I ramble. Catch you on the flip side. Retreats. Eventually, the night quiets down, and in the more quiet hours of the evening, around 4 a.m. ish, you get visited by what seems to be the man that was by his side before. This pale-looking elf, red eyes gleaming underneath the moon night sky, and he's just he finds you when you set yourself up on the deck, and he just looks at you. He nods and he says, "I'm here, and I take it you wanted to confirm with the captain that you are to take the trial?"
Some conditions. I think, from what he said, it's safest if we just take a single ship, which means I have 3 ships and 3.5 crew that need safe harbour.
I think I can handle that. Although the captain himself won't be available as of this moment. I believe I'm more than enough to lead the ship for now, as well as of this moment, actually, he's scouting and taking upon himself how best to claim upon the treasure in which you speak of. Whatever these conditions are, I'll tell it to him right away. And I'll let you know whatever he responds with.
Just that they should be treated fairly.
Of course.
Equal share of the loot, should they have the opportunity to join in any of your encounters, of course, right?
He puts a hand up and he says, Oh, the captain's not willing to take any loot. It's all yours. For now. These are your people. These are your lands. I believe he's rather strict when it comes to personal vendetta.
Ah. Good to know. See, we're learning things here.
Of
We're going to
course.
need supplies to get to this typhoon. And
Yes. I'll have that covered personally, actually. You see, you didn't see it before, but there are like crates being like quietly loaded by some. You're not sure if it's invisible people or if they're just floating up onto the decks. But you see on the other galleons, the crates are just like being like slowly floated on and put down.
we are going to be traveling through potentially drow infested waters. And while it might be something you guys are familiar with, those of us that reside on the land have difficulty coming up with ways to hide a ship.
That one I can also help with, although there's only so much you can do because it's a bloody ship.
Exactly. So it's not just me, right?
It's not just you, friend. It's a sort of technology that's been researched on and been worked on and developed on for quite a while now, and there's not really been any efficient means of hiding the ship. There has been means, but not quite anything substantial, I think. You'd have to have someone as strong as Captain Benjamin to actually hide an entire ship, make it invisible. But even then, it'd be a pain in the ass for him.
Well, last request, we need some fucking cannonballs.
Alright, that's a bit of a problem. I don't... Without having to teleport them in, which is going to be a right pain in the arse, I think... Depending on whether or not when you want to do this project of yours, it will have to be a detour I'm going to have to take your ships on, either with or without you. I'm going to have to be shipwreck diving along inside Galleon's demise for these cannons. For these, cannons. Don't think the cannonballs would be retrievable, but some could be, yes, for sure. Or I'm trying to think of a way, but you guys are pretty much fucked up this region. I don't think there's gonna be some sort of dynasty trade merchant ships to be raided anytime soon, so you've kind of fucked yourselves over in that bit. I could take them onto ports, salvage, take them on a run, see how their loyalty is towards I and towards themselves. As a note, I am here to remind them constantly upon the leadership in which they are entrusted with, which is yours. I am not here to take them under my wing, and should they defer to some of my commands afterwards, I'll simply abandon them.
You know what? It sounds good. We're going for a reasonable, I suppose the pirates would call it an honor code. Not looking for needless slaughter, but we definitely would prefer that some of other people's belongings now become our belongings.
You're pretty much in line with us then. That's usually how we operate. We don't need to take lives. People are just strongly compelled to protect what's theirs. I mean, I can't blame them. Anyway, as for the problem of the cannons, well, you're gonna have to make the decision on behalf of your ships. I'm only here to look after them. Should you wish to have them sail around the islands for a bit, get what they can from the ports, which are probably already destroyed and looted as well, and then you can probably come back to us. And we'll have a few cannons on board. There's a bit of risk in it, but you know. There's always risk when there's reward.
There is a temporary Drow port on the island directly across from us. They'll probably have some supplies there and should be a relatively soft target.
Did you bring cannons with you?
Of course, but the bastard sent us with no fucking cannonballs. Do you know how much... They decided that he'd use them all themselves and sent us basically defenseless down this way and expected us to be happy about it.
I want to say quite defenseless. You've got at least the crewmen. I mean, this makes up for it. It looks like they can all fight. I've had to come into your ships before where everyone was just sailors and there was only 3 people that could fight. Massive pain in the arse, I tell you, since once they board you, those cannons will do shit all. But you've got boarding men, you've got men perfect to plunder other ships that may have cannons.
If they sink your ship before you can close, because they can just float away and shoot from a distance, the boarding crew is not much use.
True enough. But you've got galleons. I think cannons are not... Whatever ship comes your way, they'd be fucked. But I understand your need for caution. It would be nice to have both, of course. Tell you what, tell me what to do. I'll guide and instruct the crew as best as I can towards what you'd like. You can only do one or the other, though I'll probably only have time, depending on how long you take. If at all, even one of them. So you can decide whether or not you want to, while you're gone in this Eternal Typhoon, whether or not you want to have your ships going around past the Dynasty and plundering other merchants in the other waters. Or you can have them shipwreck diving and Galleon's Demise. Both are high risk and both are high reward. Or you can have them wait. Be safe.
Do you have a map of the ocean conditions between here and the Demise?
Not quite a regional map. I have the region map, but not this particular region's map. He says, pointing to the Galleon's Demise. I believe it's all for show, all these rocks here and there, and he just points to all of them.
It's more wondering at the depth.
The depth. Well, due to all the protrusions of the land masses out here, it'd be a bit shallow, but a bit better for one of the more smaller ships, which is probably why it's called Galleon's Demise, now that I think about it. It's a wonder only one of your ships, like, just looking fucked.
They had a disagreement with one of my new friends. There's nothing to do with the rocks.
Ah, I see. Fair enough, fair enough.
How about you take them towards the Demise? It'd be a good practice run to see, get some unit cohesion going, you know?
Of course.
I'll,
teach these soldiers a few things about the sea as well. We'll do them some good.
Just check in. There might be some additional members of the crew. I'm gonna jump overboard and have a chat with the crab and see if he's willing to go along and help them.
Okay. And what do you say to the crab?
How are you at long distance travel?
It prefers not to travel, if at all. It likes its food here.
What's your favorite food? Do you enjoy these birds?
He does not enjoy the birds too much, but they're a nice change of pace. When you ask him the food he loves, he says he likes crab.
Yeah. Each to their own.
Yeah.
What sort of crabs?
He says others like my kind. He likes he likes winning the fight and tearing them apart, because that way he knows his pincers are stronger than their shells.
Is it the fight or the consuming that you prefer the most?
He likes both. He definitely likes the consuming more.
How about you hitch a ride on some of these vessels here, and we can look for your preferred food source. And if things are looking dicey and they're gang up on you, we can tip the balance so you feed well.
He conveys. He doesn't convey words this time, but he conveys like an emotion, like contemplating, planning. Make a persuasion check. It's been good so far. Let's see.
Oh wow!
my God,
When is
that's
it gonna
good.
run out? All my combat rolls from last time has been made up for.
The giant crab can actually move relatively. They can swim. They can swim well. They can swim well. It doesn't need to hitch a ride, it seems, and it conveys that it'll be a what do you call it? It'll be a symbiotic relationship.
Looking to have that assistant guarding from threats from below while they're traveling, and
Yeah, it will find a way to let you know should there be threats from below and should the waters be not too deep. If it's too deep, it just. I mean, this is a huge giant crab. It can traverse the very deepest bits of the oceans here. It shall be below, and occasionally check up to see how the ship is doing, how the ships are doing, because it is that fast. But it, it conveys the emotions. There's no guarantees, and it wants a sizable amount of like the share of the food should it win in a tussle, but it will help the ships in the fight. Sure.
I'll rip up one moment and I'll get a Veg and introduce him to the crab.
Looks at the you watch as a Veg actually casts water breathing on himself. And you weren't sure he was able to do this in the first place, but you're impressed. He seems to have picked up some new things, and as he swims to where you are, is surprised by this creature. The creature just not really caring about it.
I'm going to be looking at collecting some shark friends to go into the typhoon. I'd like you to stay with the fleet and keep contact with this escort here.
He turns to you and he says, "Wait, are you sure you don't need me with you?"
I think I need you with the ships. We have a tenuous hold on loyalty, and I prefer we keep a grasp upon it.
Be that as it may, I'd rather be by your side, Captain.
I understand, and hopefully it will not be a long trip.
He nods slowly, like he seems disappointed, but he'll listen. And he says, "If you think I'd be best suited here."
We're starting with 4, but eventually we'll have more ships, and you'll have to be a captain of your own. Think of it as a trial run.
I see. Well, I would have had to add some of these responsibilities and difficulties somehow. All right, Captain. Sure. It's the first time you've heard him serious. Usually he just fucks around, but yeah, he's thinking on this.
Represented a representative of Benjamin, our new captain. Captain will be aboard the ship. He is there in an advisory role. Feel free to ask for any help that you may need.
Be talking to him a lot then, Captain. Need quite a bit of help.
Well, look at it this way. You get to learn how to sail from someone who knows how to sail and not an alchemist.
Fair. And we'll teach you all about the ships once you come back. So, and he looks towards the crab. Does it have a name?
I don't know. You didn't say. I'm gonna ask the crab if you got any preferred name or sound that a drow might be able to produce to call out to.
If it could laugh, it would. It just conveys the feeling of emotion, of like amusement. It does not have a name. You may name it if you want.
Corral.
Corral. Ah, yes, Corral the crab. It's just spelled coral.
Yeah, but as in like corral horses or other animals
Ah.
or loot.
Yeah, I see.
One of your new duties of Egg would be making sure that the crab is fed. Sometimes he won't be able to find sustenance, and seagulls is not his favourite food. Perhaps mix it up a bit. Corral, perhaps left pincer waving for yes and right pincer waving for no. Is that a reasonable means of communication?
This one cannot speak to me.
I don't believe so. 1 second. Vega, do you speak crab?
I would have already asked his name if I could, sir. But no.
Currently,
I
no.
don't. That's perhaps the weirdest thing you've asked me.
Unfortunately, us surface
Apart from
folk.
drink your blood. That was pretty fucking hardcore.
Well, it was a shortcut.
He shrugs. I've been working on something, which is why I wasn't wanting a captain position for a while. Give me a few days, and I'll perhaps be able to speak with the sea creatures.
It'll be very, very useful going forward.
Right, yep. For now, yeah. I think I heard that. Left pincer for yes, right pincer for no. So wait, does it understand me?
No. But if you hold out the bird and it says no, maybe offer something else.
I see. Right. Okay. So.
Alright.
Take me a bunch of days, just.
Both pincers is danger, and he'll point to the safest direction. Is that alright, Corral?
The crab nods.
There we have it. We've got navigational aid.
Oh, and then it remembers. It holds up the pincer for yes. But yeah. Seems to
Could
be
we rig up like a little wee raft to tow behind so the crab can hop on the raft and signal the crew?
It does not need it. It can surface, and it is still fast underwater, like as fast as a ship.
More so the crew can see it rather than it can see the crew.
Oh, it will gently tug behind a boat, as gently as it could, to signal something wrong.
Okay.
But yeah, I assume you tell Ahiri of this creature as well and say the same things.
Yeah, essentially. Give him the
Okay.
rundown.
All right. Alec will give you a rundown of what he was doing. He was a wizard of Elysia. He had been working on a few spells to help in the travel of like seafaring as well. The underwater breathing was a product of one of them. He'll invested time to eventually, and now call upon Ahiri, sorry, to also get upon more seafaring. So eventually, throughout the days, is there any sort of like final bits you want to do in the in the lands of the Spire? So Benjamin is already gone.
Does I hear? I mean, do we have any access to markets or shops or anything, or is he just bringing supplies?
He's bringing supplies, although he himself is a shop. I mean, you can ask him what you want. Maybe you can set up some sort of trade with him.
Here, all I have since my exile is this and this, and about 2 dozen arrows. Might I trouble you for anything? The comforts of civilization. At least a buddy bag.
He smiles. All in due time. You're gonna have to be you're gonna have to do the loot and the hard work for that one, friend. Maybe set upon a detour before we go to the Typhoon, or when you come back, we'll have some of those that you requested. I'm here as a guide, but should there be some other treasures worth trading, I'm more than happy to part with some of mine. Sure, for trade.
Gonna look through my bag. What do I actually have? Virtually nothing.
Yeah. Clean slate start.
I've got a sending stone to Typhus. 9 days ration.
That's an interesting one.
And those food bead things, about a couple of those left. Oh, and a shitload of arrows.
Yep. He'll give you the means to craft more arrows. He'll give you a bowyer's kit for one of your crew to eventually use. They can, nearly every one of these Drow can make arrows. It's like when South Korea has like their mandatory military service, like,
Okay.
and they know how to like load a gun and shit like that. Every man knows how to load a gun. Every man knows how to shoot a bow and like make arrows in Drow society, essentially. Yeah.
I think that's basically it. My new fleet is being donated on a temporary basis.
Indeed, it is. Ahiri is.
Actually, can he help patch up the fucked ship?
He cannot himself. He can designate people who seem to be on the more stronger on the upper body sort of deal to be trained as carpenters, ship carpenters, and have that ship as the model for such.
Do they have any smaller ships?
And they don't have any ships on the spires at all, actually. They're here on some business he can't talk about.
Where might we find the ship that can be sailed by 7?
Well, now, this is when we'll have to take an actual detour. Probably nowhere in these lands, don't you think? We've saved for the strongest and biggest of the military ships. I don't think the Drow... Actually, I'd like to ask you that. Did the Drow leave any of the faster sailing ships to be used? You in character would not know.
If they exist, they'll be around where the dynasty were making their stand. They'd be used as scout ships.
Well then, that's kind of where the meeting spot would be. Just to the west of it, just to the edges and just outside of the island's purview. So perhaps once we make our way there, you can make more decisions.
Going to be sailing a ship into the ocean, into the storm. Rather not ruin one of my good boats.
Probably not. Or maybe you should. I'm not sure. No one's really. I've not heard tales of, or at least records of a galleon sailing right into the Eternal Typhoon. They're usually strong enough to brave the currents being drawn in. It's usually the schooners and the smaller brigs that don't make it. But of course,
Is this damage repairable?
you'll have to ask them on the other side of the typhoon.
Oh, I mean, this one, and he's pointing to the one that the shark
Oh,
gutted.
yeah, he looks at it. No, jeez. For the love of Rahal's arse, that's a bit. Well, it's repairable, but it's not going to ever be in full condition. Peak condition, sorry.
Perhaps I won't take that one then.
Perhaps not, or perhaps you do?
I was
If you
leading
don't-
towards that, but lads, how well do you swim?
They laugh at you. Couple of them put their hands up. I can swim.
Okay, we're taking that one.
Huh? So just this this drow that was just like in the middle of like just doing the rope work.
So I'm looking at taking like a kind of addict character, 7 of them because plane shift will take a crew of 7.
Ooh, okay. Do you? Yeah, I mean, honestly, most of your loyalists can swim. Alec is especially very much suited to underwater now, as you guys go towards the galleon's demise and eventually towards the meeting place. You don't need a roll for encounters. You are of the sea. The sea is your oyster.
I'll take 6 others that Alec designates, or like make sure that they're cool with going, but
Okay.
take his picks.
So you're actually taking Alec with you into the typhoon, or?
No, just
What
the 6 he would recommend.
Okay, I takes like none from the major division. I mean, not surprising. Yeah, it takes 4 from the ranger division and 3 from the melee. 2 from the bodyguards division. So you see, just from the people that have, he pretty much set up like a competition, like a safe one on the waters, making sure it was guarded, like a swimming competition, and these were the winners essentially.
Fair enough.
And he just says, probably the quickest way to do it, Captain, but it's these guys, and yeah, you get like 6 other drow with you. They're all trained. None of them were the lieutenants, sadly. And they're all relatively athletic and very, very good swimmers, it seems. In terms of combat, they're good with the blade bow. All of them are, and it seems the bodyguard ones especially good with the shield. They have the fighting style protection.
Oh, neat. Does Ahir have any means to focus on arriving back into the material plane? I know technically I can banish people back, but I think that ends up random.
It is random, yes.
And I don't think Plane shift's not like teleport where you just need an item, right? You actually need a tuning fork.
You do need a tuning fork. Yeah. He does, but he does not want to give it to you. He says, "This one, the tuning fork I've got. You see, I'm a bit of a caster myself, but of course I'm only here to guide your ships. Tuning fork I have is towards where our base of operations are located, and it's always moving.
What about a teleport circle?
Same deal, but I don't think until you've proven. Well, I guess you are proven already. Should it really need to be make a persuasion check?
Damn it. Please don't get stuck in the way in water. 8.
8.
It's happened sooner or later.
He goes, I can't divulge you the location of the teleportation circles, sadly. And as for the tuning fork, sure. Just make sure when you arrive at the place, should you need to, say, you're a man undergoing a trial, and that you're a friend of a Ahiri. He gives you the tuning fork.
Excellent.
Put in your inventory, tuning fork to the Storm Fortress.
Done.
Oh.
Done.
Okay.
Well, I didn't die.
You did not die.
Yet.
Yep. So, I'd say you're here. Then you're not sure how long the extra ships will come. You watch, you see this whatever this eternal typhoon. It is just like you see it on the horizon. It takes up the entire horizon at some points of the night and like at a certain angle. This is how big the typhoon is, and it is consistently like spinning.
On the
Like,
way,
it is-
can I try and recruit sharks, octopus, anything that can help pull a ship?
I'd say okay, another separate persuasion roll. 4. I mean, like a couple of octopus, and it wouldn't be enough to really do anything. They're just there for the ride, and they're interested in apparently tagging alongside the huge giant crab that you have. The sharks are not too cooperative in these parts.
So I'm guessing here takes like branches off somewhere around here. Then I'll go left and he goes right.
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'll take the octopus with me and leave the crab with them.
Okay. You come across. You'll eventually come across what seems to be. You're underneath the water now, right?
I'd be underwater to go see the octopus, yes.
Okay. Okay. And the octopus to see the edges of this place, like the water wall.
Yeah, I'll do a bit of scouting first.
Okay. You see it. Yeah, it's like the typhoon itself is in the water as well. Apparently, you heard from Benjamin. It was an easier time to go into the water wall rather than, braving the air. But yeah.
do the ships get smashed completely, or like could we at least make headway first?
Oh, was it? You're taking a ship with you?
Yeah, I'm trying to work out, do I take a ship halfway in before abandoning it, or do I just swim?
Oh, you take a ship halfway and then swim out to scout it. I assume. I assume you don't scout with the ship close, because that poses a bit of risk.
No, basically get as close as I can with the ship that can.
Okay. You get as close as you can until you start to feel like even the waters themselves begin to carry the massive galleon of the ship. Then you double back a bit, like 200 feet, and then anchor there, which is around these parts. It's all anchorable ground. It seems. It's not too deep. Yeah, yeah. You swim out for a bit, um, like 300 feet more until you're within 1 mile, it seems, of the water and the air. This is where you start to feel the pressure as well. Like already, it's a bit immense, and you're taking like half your strength to just keep up, like fighting it. But it's not too intense. But again, this is only 1 mile out.
Is it pulling down or pulling to the side, or like I know it's
It's
revolving, but like is there any directional?
it's pulling to the side for most of it.
So is it plausible that we could ride the revolutions and force our way in?
Yeah, you can definitely.
I'll look at doing that on the ship, and if the ship breaks up, so be it.
Okay, sure. Yeah, it can also definitely do. You can definitely try and do that. So you're braving the airs then.
Yeah, I think the rest of the crew might be a little bit more appreciative.
Okay. And you're taking for this journey. You're taking a skeleton crew, yes?
Correct.
Yeah. Okay. So you have your 7 swimmers plus a skeleton crew.
Just the 7 swimmers.
Yep. Do you take and none of the lieutenants, I believe, yes?
No, and the 7 swimmers are the skeleton crew.
Ooh, that's gonna be tough to handle a galleon ship with 7. But they can try.
It's a kamikaze run.
It is. They realize the thing they're about to do, and they.
Can I pre-prepare a lifeboat with everything that we have on board available that'll float?
Sure. Yes. Yeah.
Empty water skins, bits of cork.
Yeah. It's got a skiff. The galleon's got a skiff ready. Yeah. And that'll be our lifeboat. Okay.
And then seal some
Ooh.
food up and such. So
All
if
right.
we're
Good.
out there for a few days, it's not dire.
Yep. Just normal way of sealing it, just like putting it into crates and stuff.
Crates and wax, and then canvas, and do a couple. Like I know it's going to be a bit yuck, but like using some of the tar chip patches to go around the crates as well, just in case it gets really rough.
Okay. Just gonna change my song a bit. All right.
Got 2 pack slots. No, sorry, 3 pack slots. And the idea is we'll ride the revolution around. Anytime it's gonna like hit into a rock or something, I'll just control water and shortcut past it until we run out of luck.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, it's gonna be. Can't get through in this world without some risk. You're gonna take a relatively big risk with this one. Setting of course setting of course a course to follow the revolution of the wind. Immediately the wind is strong enough to carry a ship twice as fast as it's meant to actually move, and there do you do any sort of like preparations to make yourself like stick onto the ship itself?
Remove all the sails
Okay.
and look at as just before as we get in, cut the main masks down and have them trail behind so they're acting as like a drag.
All right. Sure.
And then not so much stick to the ship, but make sure we're all tied together. It'll be reduce movements, but because there's no rigging to deal with anymore, it's much less likely to have to split up.
Okay. All right. Make a in this first part of the journey. Make a strength save with advantage.
Oh, awesome at that. 8.
8. Good enough. No worry. You beat 5? You get tossed around, but it's lucky you have these stronger drow that were picked as athletic people that make sure you actually stay on the boat even though you're tied to them. They make sure you're actually not flying off the boat as it begins to become. The wind starts to howl, begins to batter upon on the ship. You see splinters of the wood begin to just from the railings on the sides. The figurehead, it seems to just like begin to like break, like the most fragile bit of your ship. Well, not too much of a hassle there, as it begins to just batter, be beat down by like the heaviest wind you've ever seen. Your crew shout out to you, but it is drowned out.
It's important to get a flu vaccination each year.
Unless you have some sort of magical means to talk to your crew, they cannot receive your orders.
If there's enough water in the air for them to be classed as submerged, then anything I say everyone else can hear and understand.
Okay. Not on this one. It
Okay.
it is a massive wind wall. It seems as though you get into it. It is less typhoon, more hurricane. Go ahead and there'll be lots of checks for this. Roll for make a strength saving throw for the ship. So that's just do a strength saving throw, and I'll do the bonuses myself.
So just roll 20?
Yeah. And then, just roll your saving throw on Viaje to make it easier.
Mine's minus.
I know. I'll just add the bonuses myself. 10.
Roll a 10.
15. 15 was what you needed.
Hooray!
Yeah, it's got a +5. The ship is maintaining its integrity for now. And it's at this point, like, you go, oh crap. Your ship begins to still sail as if it was water, but you're just following the revolution around strictly now. Your air is being your ship is being buffeted and like kept afloat. And when you look down onto like the ships and like look at the surroundings, you see no water, you see nothing, but just grayness. You're just floating on air.
All
And
according to plan.
You are at the mercy of the winds. Your crew they look terrified. Make another strength saving throw.
7.
Ooh,
Oh wait, is it
1
advantage? 7. No.
No, this is not yours.
Okay.
The ship begins to, like, it doesn't sink. Instead, it floats upwards, and you're like, "Oh fuck." The ship's integrity maintains, but you are lifted. You're not sure how high, and you ride the typhoon now. You ride this wind wall.
Is there? Is it just wind, or is it like driving rain or sea spray?
There is lots. There is driving rain, and there is like geysers worth of water that just hits the ship every now and then that like alters its pathway, but it like maintains it. It maintains the revolution because of that, but it is mostly wind.
Do I see any landmarks we're going towards?
No, it is just wind all around.
Okay.
This is the first time you've even wind so strong it looks like it's tangible wind, like it's rideable wind. Like the dust that's being accumulated and like just sent around is just like that much more strengthened. Go ahead and make another strength saving throw for the ship.
If it gets to the point where it's starting to do damage to the crew, I'm going to summon in Guardian Tentacle and just have it reduce damage while it's
Okay.
up. Better.
Better. It's at this point you're due to your ship being able to actually maintain it's like where its level is. Your crew suddenly like it has the vigor and the sort of a recovery time to like hide behind like the proper barricades themselves, angling it to where their the stuff is about to angling it so that when it's like on the revolution, none of this stuff is about to hit. They're safe for now, and it is still riding it, and it begins to just plummet down, and you have like that feeling when you're on like an elevator that's going down fast, that you have that feeling of vertigo, and you're starting to hear your crew again, and then once more, it picks up once more. Make a strength saving throw for Viaje. You have advantage. $16. Thank fuck. You don't go absolutely flying and take your crew with you out of the ship. This was the check for it. You hold on with your entire might onto the ship, and as the strongest of the winds begins to buffet, you start to hear just crashes and cracks. But in the distance, make a perception check. 24. Yeah, you needed a 20. In the distance, you watch as oh fuck. That is another. You're not sure how long it's been flying for, but that is another wreckage of the ship that's also being tossed around in the same sort of like level of revolution. It seems as though it's about to crash onto your ship as it rides along, and it's just about to coast up in the front of you. What do you do?
Control water and clear the water out in front of it to make it a negative wing. So it basically runs into a whole bunch of air resistance and stops.
Okay. It will alter its course. It will randomly go to a direction. If I roll a 4, it will still head towards your direction.
Okay.
Oops.
No, there's just one.
Oh fuck. Okay, your ship takes. I've got galleon ship HP with me. Alright, your ship takes. Not as much because of the control water. You reduced it by half, so it's whatever half of. Alright, that's. Let's see. 39 points of bludgeoning damage. Your ship is fine, actually. Due to the control water, like most of the ship was like missed. Only the stern of the ship was mostly hit, and it's relatively like reinforced as well. So it's hit the harder parts of the ship, but it's taken some damage. You then, another set of checks to maintain the ship's integrity. Going forth, as it begins to ride more and more in towards the ship, it's beginning. The wind resistance is becoming stronger, and you guys are just plopped down onto the decks of the ship this time. You and your crew take 16 points of bludgeoning damage, as they're just being pummeled by like random bits of debris now, as well as like just this debris is small as well, but deadly. It is just smashing into the crew. They're looking rough. And what's the tent?
The tentacle. I'm trying to find where I've got.
Tentacle. Oh, yeah.
How healthy are they?
After that, wouldn't be. The tentacle of the deep would protect like 3 of them, so 3 of them don't take. Oh, you can choose. Oh, only 1 actually.
Yeah.
Damn. How often can you do this?
Tentacle I can summon 5 times for up to a minute, and the Guardian's just reaction.
Just reaction? Oh, okay. You can reduce the damage of up to, let's say since you can do it every turn, you reduce 4 of the people's damage by 12. So yeah, they're looking 4 of the people looking fine, 4 of them looking rough. All right. Make another. Yeah, as you ride the ship, it's increasing in intensity. Seems you're not through the worst of it. Go ahead and roll a strength saving throw for the ship. Oh, this time it takes another. No, this can't be reduced. This is just the ship falling apart due to the air force. 32. The ship's starting to look hurt. Another strength saving throw. 13.
Is that me or both?
Oh wait. Plus, yeah. Wait.
14
Both?
plus.
14.
Be 19 for
14
ship.
plus 19. Succeeds. Maintains, and another one. Maintains. This time, you are at the strongest bits of the of this eternal hurricane. Just nothing can be heard. You can't even hear your own like internal beatings and screams. You also lose sight of your crew, and their fate to you is unknown, as you can only clutch to your rope and to the ship now. Go ahead and make a strength saving throw with Viaje.
Come on, RNG.
You do have advantage. $12. You begin to the winds are too much and you let go, and you are at the mercy of wherever you are and the rope. It looks like some of your crew is still holding on, but anything that'll hit the ship has a chance to hit you, and you will take immense damage if it hits you, and may sever you from the rope.
I'll get the tentacle to pull me back down.
Oh, you can do that?
I can make attacks and a grapple.
Attacks grapple.
I'll just check.
Actually, it can grapple you, and you can choose to like be hit with it. With that, sure. That'll be a use of it though, so you have 3 more uses.
Yep.
All right.
And it will stick around for another minute, so I can do some more guarding.
Okay. When you or Kishi, you cannot see your allies.
No, we can see me.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm just saying you can't protect your allies there. All right. So at this, it is unavoidable. Let's hope your allies survive. I rolled low, 13.
Hey.
You don't know they're fine, but they're pretty fucked up. Some of them are, at least. And now the final strength saving throws for the ship.
if I know it's getting really rough, and I think it's getting towards the end of it, I get one use of this for free essentially. So I'm going to cast this.
Hmm. Yeah, this is this seems to be the strongest bits of it.
Which level spell is it? Should I have it prepared? Looking for Evard's Black Tentacles.
Ooh.
Should have it. Can you cast straight from the sheet?
Me?
No, me. Like if I search it up, I have to drag it in.
Yeah, I have to drag it in. Ah, yes, summon greater demon. I love it. Volgora.
I do have that too, but I don't think it'll be quite as useful at the moment. Gonna get the old black tentacles to block as much shit as possible from the front of the ship.
Okay. Everard's black tentacles. Hmm. Alright. So protective tentacles. Sure. 20 foot
And-
square on the ground that you can see within range. So you'll have to cast it around you.
And then Bigby's hand is a giant tentacle.
Ooh, both of these are concentration.
Oh, they are too. We'll go with Bigby's hand to start with him.
Okay. Big Beast tentacle.
Bigby's tentacle.
We can reflavor it to Viaje's tentacle of grappling. Name it later. The tentacle, the spectral tentacle apparates, and what do you do with it? You can't see, but you can still command it.
Rapid to hold the ship together and like make a little buffer so like there's a need of space behind it. So wherever the crew is, it'll at least provide some shelter.
Okay, it'll do that. It'll provide shelter for the crew it can reach to, and prevent any of like the debris from hitting them. Okay. All right. Roll for me. Time for some luck rolls. Let's see how much of the debris actually hits you. Roll a d20. 9. Another one. 15. Another one. 11. Good. All right. An entire what looks to be. You cannot see this, so you have no way of warning or bracing for it, but you're just holding on to whatever you can anyway. And the this entire like half of a galleon actually rams straight into the side of the ship. I need you to make a strength saving throw, and the ship takes 100. Oh my goodness! You go flying. You can cast a tentacles to roll, but roll a dexterity saving throw to see how fast you're able to do this before this ship is completely out of view.
14.
14. Your reaction time is quick enough. It grabs you. You take some backlash damage. As you get like slammed onto the ship, you take 31 points of bludgeoning damage, and just stretching your muscles damages. The tentacle essentially grabbed you as you were about to fly off the fucking ship. That's essentially full damage. Then slams you back down. You're like, oh fuck. You would have. It's a broken Got some broken ribs there. You're gonna be sore for a bit. All right, that was the first bit of this one immensity. The second bit, you watch as what seems to be like a massive like a wooden treasure chest will go towards one of your crew. There's only two of your crew that's not shielded. I'd like you to roll from your like protections and stuff. I'd like you to roll a d7. On a 1 or 2, it'll hit a crew. Sorry. No save, no damage needed. That thing is flying at like a speed, and basically what happens is this guy just like in an attempt to just like save one of his like one of the friends, he just gets up just to pull enough, and as he gets down, his head gets taken off as this wooden chest just comes flying through. His body is slumped and is just like flying and is like just going across on the entire deck, being tossed around in the winds. And with the 11, again, just like a random small debris. Roll for me a 1d6 this time. There's only one person. He's in the center of the rope. Okay. This is protected by the Big B's tentacle, actually. It just slams into it. No effect. Okay. Another strength saving throw for the ship, please. Natural 20. It actually begins to go down. And you know this is good, because at this point you have no idea how high you've been lifted up off the sea floor yet. You're starting to get lots more sea sprays. Make one, and you avoid most of the dangers due to that natural 20. Make one more strength saving throw for the ship.
Once the sea spray's there, I'm gonna use second spell slots, negative wing.
Okay.
Use control water to make a water wing for us.
I'd say with this, it'll give this. Yep. It'll give enough of a avenue for advantage for the ship. 9. Okay.
15.
15. Yep. 15 sadly fails. But it's not too bad of a fail. It'll only be battened down, and it'll take half damage due to your control water. Let's see. C3. 31 points of bludgeoning damage with your ship being on its last legs. You guys start to hear calm because the winds die down. You get tossed. You see the skies. Beautiful blue skies and the land below you. Wait, below you? Your ship starts falling. Falling. And you hear your crews begin to scream. Ah! Yeah.
Strongest crew member. I pull towards him and drop control water and cast fly on him. 2 of them if I can, actually.
Okay. 5th level spell. So it
Yeah.
can get three of you.
Oh, 3. Nice. I thought it was only 2.
Yep.
Yeah, it is 2.
Yeah. So you get 3 of them. You kind of start to cast fly. You fully abandon your ship.
Yeah, I've got no chance of holding the ship up.
Yep. So do they, and between the 3 of them, they can easily get all of you. And as they begin to fly, calm down. As one asks, "Well, what the heck?" Beneath you, the galleon just is destroyed. It would have taken 300 feet worth of full damage. And sorry, not 300, 500 feet worth of full damage, and that would have been enough. As you abandon ship, and the wind here, as you find yourself in very much the eye of the tornado. The biggest tornado in the world, perhaps. And as you look about the calm lands about you, only the winds are strong and they're everywhere, but they're lots calmer here. Once you look back towards this it's gentle. It's a lot quieter in here, towards the outside, towards the screaming winds outside. You eventually find yourselves able to fly down onto the edges of whatever this island may be. You look towards the island and you see small settlements and what seems to be a larger city in its center. Do you go towards one of the settlements on the coast, or do you go outside, or what do you do?
First thing is pull out the stone to Ahiri. Managed to sail the galleon in here with a crew of 7 and only lost one. I don't see what the problem was.
He responds, "Tell me the next. Be sure to tell me the next day, but is the ship all right?" And that's the end of it.
Looking at,
He seems a bit more amused than anything.
can we go basically straight down into an unoccupied area?
You can. Immediately set foot, and it feels different here. You feel it, and your soldiers are beginning to let you know the light does not impose. The light here is not irritating. Although you look up, it's the same sort of sunlight. But it is definitely daytime, and it is definitely usually squint out of like habit. Like, you know, when there's like the sun and just the irritation, but it's not there. While here, the daytime does not impose disadvantage on you, Drow. Because it seems to be the light is different.
That'll be useful.
Yeah, you breathe. Air here is cleaner. You go towards the unoccupied land. The beaches are as normal. There seems to be small wildlife.
How far to the ship? Like, did it go straight down or is it way in the distance?
It's way in the distance. It's you have to fly quite a bit here. If, I'd say at this point the fly spell would fade, and the crew only have their immediate supplies on them.
Yeah, so we'll, I guess start
But-
heading towards where the ship touched down.
Okay. Do you do that yourself, or do you take your crew with you?
Short rest and then head with the whole lot.
Okay. Assuming with the thing, as you take your short rest, as you come across this strange new land, as you set yourselves amongst the strange, deciduous oak trees that litter the place. We'll end the session there.
I bury
Welcome
Bob
to-
before I forget.
Yeah. I'd say with that you'd complete your short rest and you'll eventually go back to your ship. Well, I'll run through what you bury Bob. He's gone. Oh, actually, no. Only his head's gone. Yeah, he can bury Bob. No problem. Yeah. Welcome. If you had natural one at any of that point, it would have been disastrous. You would have been tossed into the winds. You would have had no crew, no ship. You would have just been tossed into the into the place, into the thing, and it's a good thing you had fly.
Yeah, I was thinking, what
Because-
spells might I need?
Yeah, if at all you would have been found unconscious in this world, in this place, you would have just been picked off and probably would have died. But you made it here in this unknown land, unknown place, and who knows? I'll run this with you in text starting from now on, and should the need arise, maybe even turn this one into a short campaign.
Hey,
Viaje in the strange landers.
do we have 6 volunteers?
It won't be the Drow, they're too weak. It'll be some locals, perhaps, that may be looking for either a way out or also looking for some freedom. But for now, yeah. I couldn't completely destroy you in the walls, damn. Because if it wasn't the ship taking those 20d6 rolls, it would have been you.
I was gonna use the blade bow to do a 200 health shield if the ship broke up.
So there would have been a chance for you to actually die. Yeah. Not just he would have easily
Instant.
died if the ship. Yeah, not an instant. That's good. Yeah. No, Viaje was pretty well suited. I could think of like a few of the other higher level ones that would have been immediately destroyed by this this wall. But yeah, braving the eternal typhoon, yeah, you found yourself in a strange kingdom and perhaps learn about the history of this strange world. But yes, good job, well done. I need, what do I need? I need some Domino's or some KFC. Fuck.
Maybe they have better chicken here.
Poggers.
Maybe they what? Sorry.
Maybe they've got better chicken here, and I'll just stay here forever.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Honestly, it just depends on how sympathetic you feel to whatever cause lies here. Maybe you will want to stay here forever, or maybe you will want to set them free. You're not sure.
Is it elves, right? Aren't they vegan?
They're vegans.
No,
Good luck,
they-
this guy
they-
thinking vegans exist in Clyde's world.
They're not. They're not vegan. They just they prefer vegetables. A lot of them do. They prefer nature, but it doesn't mean they're vegan.
Simply meat is just
Honestly, a
another
lot
form of
of the-
nature's energy.
Honestly, a lot of the elves in the Empire are like, yeah, fuck those like traditional elf ways. We love our meat.
Walk
Like-
in, look at the
Piece of
street
meat,
food,
man.
see it's all vegetarian, just plain shift out instantly. And
You're like, yeah, I'm not having any. I'm not saving this. I'm not having any of this.
it's not worth saving.
Just,
Yeah.
nope. Womp.
You report back to the Pirate King. Yeah, it's not worth looting either. They're vegans. He's like, yep. I can understand. no worries.
Understandable.
We'll start firing random cannonballs in it, just in case we might hit one of them.
He'll destroy
Yeah.
them all.
The thing is, there has been random cannonballs shot into the storm wall. There would have been if you had rolled lower, there would have been a chance for one of those cannonballs to straight up hit you.
+1 cannonball for the infantry.
Into your face, yeah.
I mean, if he can survive it, technically he does go into the inventory.
I think at that point I don't even roll for damage. If you have some way of
Reaction
anti-decapitation.
Blade Ward.
Yeah. If you have some anti-decapitation, I'll let you live. But a cannonball being tossed at perhaps the strongest winds in the world sort of force. I don't think I'll let anyone live. Not even someone like Wallbreaker. That thing will hurt.
Haste. That's not
Yeah.
impact,
Yeah.
that's just
That is.
haste.
Not even pace, you just get Thanos snapped. You just go
If
and
you-
get
The thing, if you
evaporated.
have like artifact level armor, which the High Lord does, I'll roll to see whether or not the cannonball breaks or your head.
The hydrostatic shock from the impact would just mush everything internally.
Yeah,
anyway.
regardless, both will suffer. Both will just perish. Anyway, let me check my bank account because I need to pay my gym. But yeah,
Just get a home gym, Clyde. Come on.
that shit's way more expensive than just going to a gym weekly, my guy. But if I was rich enough, sure. I thought about it. I thought about investing into home gym, but then I realized, like, if I get better, I'll have to pay for better.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Like, if
And
I
then
get stronger, I'll have to. Yeah.
If you drop a weight, at least at the gym there's someone there to get it off you.
Yeah. I don't think I'll trust in my little brother, not yet at least, to get the weights off of me or spot me.
Yeah, you can always go check out the hot guys as well.
True. I mean, yeah, when I went with Zane, like, we always check out the guys more than the girls, honestly. They're like, dude, that guy's fucking jacked. He's like, and I'm like, yeah, he's like 3 times the size of you. What the fuck? It's always the guys getting our eyes, honestly. So yeah, it's true. It's true. It's very, very true. Yeah.
Take a
All right.
chance.
Okay, I'll come back later. I don't know if people are on. Those people are on for Uncharted, or I'll just join in for some Outpost Siege, or all play, or I join you for some State of Ted.
State of Ted.
I'm not sure. Guess I'll decide when I when I arrive. But yeah,
Just don't
Cheers,
fall asleep
Lawrence.
after eating food.
good job in managing in fleet management and logistics, and yeah, if you had said no to Benjamin, yeah, there would have been like a sandbox of a world for you to explore, or yep, you said yes, so yeah, you're doing this fucking. It really was a kamikaze run, dude. That could have been bad. That
Not,
could have
oh
been,
shit, not good.
That could have been Viaje paced.
It
Like,
could have been
very
Viaje
easily.
paced.
But
When the cannonball shows up, oh shit, not good.
you decided to use all of it. I mean, to do all of it. It was all very good rolls too. Mostly above 10, and you used all your
Above
slots.
Ted.
Yeah. You used all your slots to actually do shit. That's pretty good. Very well done. Yeah, alright, now for some pizza. Man, I'm hungry.
I was kind of thinking, well, if he dies, it's no longer his problem anymore.
True. That's true. And now the players have some knowledge of this strange place, which eventually will be mentioned upon. But yeah. Anyway, you get a head start. Alrighty. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Time for some pizza.
Vegan pizza.
Oh god.
Vegan pizza.
Yeah, vegan
Yeah,
pizza.
Oh, it's King Zach.
in deference to the elves that you're about to go slaughter, sure. Vegan pizza.
Fucking vegan pizza. That should never. Yeah.
It does exist.
Isn't that just a vegetarian pizza? Like with nothing.
No, there's these
And, like, fake chicken.
Oh
like-
wait.
like-
Oh
like-
yeah, the fucking fake dough.
Yeah, no
No,
egg, no milk.
it's called
No
It's
cheese.
called,
Cheese.
it's called
Oh.
It's called the Impossible range in Domino's.
Impossible to
Aw.
enjoy.
Yeah.
Good one.
Ugh.
Oh my gosh. Alright, now that the comedian's here, I'll go get my pizza. Alright, see you guys in like 30 minutes. If
Fucking-
not, I'll see you guys in TFT or something. I don't know.
Zeking, was your Legion? They were frontline fighters, right? We were trying to work it out.
Scouts.
Scouts, that's right.
My brother was like very perceptive, but he's super lazy. But he's lazy because he can do his job well.
Ah,
And he's still alive, yeah?
I remember so. Yes.